Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today in Clash of Clans with some Clash of Clans news for you guys. Meanwhile, I am totally clouding as we speak, so if you see some random editing where all of a sudden I'm MIA, it means I found a village. Don't think that's going to happen in the next 10 to 20 minutes, though. Anyway, guys, that's not the reason that I'm here with you guys today. The reason is, as I put on some replays and take away these clouds for you guys, you don't have to stare at them for forever, what I'm going to do is go over a recent Q&A that I found very insightful and interesting from the Clash of Clans team. Now, these questions were decided by you guys, the forum and Reddit community, and given to the team by Loch Ness Monster, who's one of my favorite Supercell moderators over at the forums. I think this is his 6th or 7th shout out. Shout out to Anushka, by the way, because they're kind of tallying up between them. Anyway, I digress. What we're going to do today is go over their answers, specifically the 5th question about engineered bases, where the answer was pretty surprising, where they admitted that the Clash of Clans internal team is divided on the subject of engineered bases, just kind of like you guys are, the community. So I kind of found that refreshing and sobering to know that they don't have all the answers either. But before we get to that, I'm going to go over the Q&A, the first 4 questions, before we get to that 5th question about the lopsided bases in the engineered clans, which I will describe to you guys in case you don't know what it is. And if you want to read along, I'll include a link for you guys. This did take place a day ago from this recording. So if you already read it, you can still watch. Hopefully I'll provide a little extra insight and we'll discuss these topics, and read along if you want to. So the link is below in the description. So let's get right to it. Question number 1. Is there any chance of including something like the clan chests that are in Clash Royale into Clash of Clans? And what are your long-term plans for events? So they refer to a previous answer given by Anushka on the forums 4 weeks ago. Here's a screenshot of that. And basically, on top of that, they say at this point, clan chest-like feature is not planned in Clash of Clans, but we talked about the possibility of running an event with similar mechanics to some extent. Not something that we're currently developing at the moment, though, as we are totally focused on pumping out a super awesome update. Ooh, I like the sound of that. So, for those of you who don't know what a clan chest is, I know not all of you, in fact, many of you probably don't play Clash Royale. Basically, what you do is you work together as a clan. Think of it as like getting a star. Every star you get or every crown you get in Clash Royale goes to some greater tally that the whole clan works together to unlock a chest or unlock a Clash of Clans, something akin to loot or a treasure, something to go in your treasury, something like that, some kind of a bonus. So it doesn't seem like they have any plans on that, so I'm not going to spend too much more time talking about it. Question number 3. I guess that was two and 1 there. So moving right along. Question number 3. Will you consider adding an option to copy a base? Now, they've been talking about this since 2012, since way back in the day, and they said it's something we've talked about in the past. It's just not on our radar at the moment. Of course, we will revisit the idea down the track, but we don't commit to things that may not come to be. So it does not sound like there will be any copy base feature added to the game. And this is an interesting one, right? Because I don't know, 95% of me wants a copy base feature because it's awesome and it takes so much time and it's rather tedious, especially if you're in a clan that requires frequent war-based changes. It can be a half an hour, it can even be up to an hour if you really want to build and tweak inside that war base, and it's definitely a time investment that not everybody's ready for. However, you don't have to change your base if you're not in a super hardcore clan. In building a base, I mean, who remembers way back in the day when you had to build your base from total scratch? No base building feature at all. You just had to go in there and move every single wall. You couldn't even drag all your walls together. So we've come a long way in the base building editing tool inside the game. So I'm happy with that. If you totally remove the base building, there's a little part of me that kind of doesn't want that, even though it's probably the unpopular thing to say. I think most people would actually like a base copy feature, but I feel like it's part of the game to build your base, and I wouldn't want them to take that away necessarily. I don't think, but, subject to change. I'm going to ride the fence a little bit on that one. Question number 4. Will anything be done possibly in the near future to bring down hero regeneration time to make them compatible with how long it takes to cook an average army? The answer: as you remember, we reduced hero regeneration time quite a while back in May 2016. Training times feel overall much better in sync to us. At the moment, there are no plans to proceed with further reductions in regeneration time. Okay, so another unpopular opinion. To me, it's pretty fair. I mean, think about it again. 2-3 years ago, it was like triple or 4 times what it is now. It was ridiculous in terms of hero regen time. I mean, forget about them not being ready when your army's ready. Talk about 2 or 3 or 4 armies worth of cooking where your heroes are still, regenerating. So I'm happy that they continue to readjust things. It's much easier to train your troops now. Think back when 2011, when Town Hall 11 was introduced to the game, and just how different the game was. Even it's only been 6 months since we didn't have to click on our barracks anymore to individually train troops in each barracks and kind of make sure they all come out right. So I'm happy with a hero regeneration time. It would be nice if they were just very slightly reduced further. That way they would sync up better to the average army training time. But, that's also got to be a revenue question for Supercell, just to throw it all out there, right? I mean, that's got to be one of gemming heroes when they're upgrading, and just, people who are trophy pushing, or people who are more competitive, more hardcore, gemmer, aka gemmers like me. I always gem my heroes the finish time if I'm not boosting them. So that's going to be a financial thing as well. Anytime they make even a little tweak, even if it's just 1 second off, it does affect their bottom line. So Supercell is a company just like any other company out there, so it's something they got to definitely think about on both sides of the equation there. So hey, a little bit of a further reduction would be pretty cool, but you can't have everything you want. But now let's get to the main question here, and that is, does Supercell see lopsided bases as a fair and equitable playing style? Whew. So they say engineering is a heated topic and opinions about it are divided. Are lopsided bases anything we can prevent? We meaning the Supercell team here. If we could, should we do a drastic change? Would people put up with strict restrictions on upgrades to mandate offense and defense balance? Say we put in a restriction. Could the restrictions be balanced to be somewhat more lenient? Where would we draw the line? And if this is a complex line, would we need tools to help players manage their upgrades and understand those restrictions better? So that was a mouthful, but basically they're asking all the obvious questions. We as a community, me as a content creator, you guys, a lot of you guys are influencers in your own right. You're clan leaders, you're co-leaders, and you're really into the game. And we all have a tendency, myself being the first one out there. Man, this is coming across so pro Supercell, and you guys know I'm not afraid to speak my mind, but these are kind of some of the interesting things what we talk about when you get into a question, when you have this transparency from Supercell, right? And that is the question of, okay, engineering is a problem, okay, how do we fix it? And then you run into all this snowball effect of all these other issues. One of the design philosophies of Clash of Clans is to keep things as simple as possible inside the game. And that's a core philosophy of the team, meaning that they don't want to add tons of complex rules. And they've already added quite a few complex rules when you think about it from the early stages of the game 5 years ago. So they go on here. Most cases can be prevented even with cannot be prevented even with restrictions. For example, thinking about launching a new troop or a spell or a defense or even extra buildings at lower town hall levels. Doing balancing becomes more difficult, as any bigger rebalance could allow people to break the restrictions. Furthermore, without restrictions, what can we do? Keep in mind that we are already doing a lot. As mentioned in the previous dev Q&A, there is a huge amount of code behind the Clan War matchmaking that specifically looks for the lopsided bases and is designed to mitigate any unfair advantage they may have. This isn't obvious to players because the war map is sorted by defensive strength only, Let me take a quick step back here. That's something that people still don't understand. I still get questions. Ash, how come my mirror is a Town Hall 11? I'm a Town Hall 10. What the hell? Defense, the war map is only defense, guys. It's only defense. Your mirror has nothing to do with you. That's not your true mirror. It's just your defensive, well, it means nothing. It has nothing to do with you. Don't even think about it as having anything to do with you. Okay, however, attack strength is always taken into account, and Clan War Matchmaking does it all and can make sure that the books are balanced overall from top to bottom on the war map, both in terms of attack and defensive strength. Of course, we can always do better, and we will continue to improve this matchmaking very often. We can't prevent them without making extremely complex restrictions that will adversely impact some players and would require a lot of time and development effort to do correctly. And even then, they might not even work as well and in the long term as we intend. Instead, we try to improve our matchmaking algorithm to produce unfair advantages from little things like lopsided bases, and we'll continue to do so regularly and not produce reduce. Okay, so that was a mouthful again, but essentially, the Clash of Clans team is also divided on this. They said it right there in the answer. And, you know, it sounds like they don't intend the game to be played this way, but what is the easy fix? And I know everybody out there has a great idea on how to fix engineered bases, but the thing is there's truthfully no simple solution. You can't force people, at least I don't think it'd be right, to force people to max out their Town Hall before upgrading. Because, you know what, rushing to me should be part of the game. It should be an option if you want it to be. Maybe that you add a restriction, and this is where the more complex, elements come in, I guess, to this whole idea, is maybe you add a restriction that you can't go 2 Town Hall levels above your offense where you are defense or something like that. But then it becomes a little bit, not as sticky in terms of you'd have to have a tool in game that showed you where all your defenses were, and it gets a little clunky and complex, and it's just not, even if you understand it, even if all my viewers are smart people, so you would understand it, but hey, maybe the casual player doesn't want to understand it. You know, it's not a question of it's a question of, do you want to invest the time to learn about, you can't upgrade your level 8 cannon until your level, whatever, 5 hogs until your level 7 cannon is upgraded. I mean, that becomes a little bit too complex for me, for the average player even too. So that's where they stand. It sounds like they're continuing to make under the hood changes to the matchmaking algorithm in Clan Wars, and that's a good sign. I've actually noticed getting quite a fewer amount of these engineered clans. Maybe that's because we don't have any engineered bases in our clans. Nothing crazy, at least to my knowledge, but we do have 10 clans now, so it's hard to keep track of all you guys. But basically, that's how I feel about it. I feel like they're moving in the right direction. I feel like it might be getting a little bit better, and they say they're going to continue doing so. So, hey, cheers to that, and hopefully, of course, I still haven't found a base, by the way, guys. But hopefully we will see, a solution that works for everybody in the long term. And maybe the solution just is frequently adding these little small changes under the hood to the matchmaking algorithm. So, guys, stay tuned for more information. I'm still like racking my brain over what this ship is. I want the ship, and I think it's going to be huge. I don't know anything else about it, and I hate teasing you guys, but I just have a feeling that the ship is going to be the next big thing in Clash of Clans. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video where we kind of review a Q&A, kind of give my thoughts. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about all the topics we discussed in today's video. Go ahead and drop me a line in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.